The World Youth Scrabble Championship has increasingly become a proving ground for future Scrabble grandmasters. The 2025 version was no exception, with elite youth competitors from around the globe. After 18 rounds, two players sat atop the field. 14-year-old Madhav Gopal Kamath of India and 17-year-old Abdulqudus Olawale Aliu of Nigeria. With 3 rounds to go, the two Scrabble prodigies squared off in what was effectively a best-of-3 match. With the first move in round 22, Abdulqudus draws 2 S's, allowing him to spend one with Veins for 24. Madhav draws the QU combination, but without a good spot to play it right now, he wisely elects to play Kiva for 22, hoping for better options for his Q next turn. Abdulqudus draws the first blank and spots the impressive bingo of demigods for 66 to jump out ahead, while Madhav benefits from his patience with Queen for 46. Abdulqudus balances his rack with Cow for 29, while Madhav does the same with the solid Haw for 38, his best option here. Abdulqudus next makes an excellent move of Arti for 28. Not only is this his highest scoring choice, but this move also greatly obstructs Madhav's ability to score well to the triple with hooks to Woe, as 2 now only hooks with an S. With that area blocked, Madhav is forced to take a lower score with Peso for only 13, and with Abdulqudus facing a similarly challenging board, he plays Og for 15, setting up an unobstructed S hook on a board that did not previously have one, with an S in hand. Madhav counters with a good block of that hook in Bleb, also shedding his 2 Bs, and Abdulqudus answers with Ox, scoring solidly with his X. Madhav next makes a fantastic play of Teended for 80, not only spotting his obscure 7-letter word, but also the T hook of Ought. Very nicely done. This move does open the triple word lane, and Abdulqudus makes another excellent response play of Sudsy for 30. Parting with both S's shows great maturity on his part, as the board doesn't contain any useful S hooks at the moment, and his move leaves behind a much more flexible leave than other candidate plays. Madhav answers with the gorgeous Gelt for 32, making a slew of overlaps, easily his top choice here, and Abdulqudus hits back with his own top option of Fey for 37 to draw back even. This move creates a spot for overlaps with the J and Z, with both of those letters lurking, so Madhav preemptively blocks with Moi for 30, another good choice. Abdulqudus draws the second blank and has one playable bingo here of Fotino, but this play gives back potentially huge overlaps to Madhav, making his play of Nip much safer positionally. Madhav draws 3 R's and is now in a bit of trouble. He makes a very nice choice here of Tars for 15, blocking the last good 7-letter bingo lane on the board and setting up the Atony hook for his other A while he looks to improve his rack balance. Abdulqudus opens a new 7s lane with Nu for 9, and Madhav counters with the hyper-defensive Id for 9 to shut it right back down. Abdulqudus next plays Lose for 22, scoring decently and shedding his weakest 2 bingo tiles in an effort to play an 8-letter word into the R. But in the nick of time, Madhav plays Allah for 22, blocking that lane and reaping the benefits of his previous choice. With Natterer now blocked, Abdulqudus has no playable bingos and instead plays Bant for 12, waiting for a better opportunity, while Madhav draws the J and plays Jizz for 19, taking a 23-point lead on this constricted board. Sensing that he might not get another chance to score well, Abdulqudus makes a nice play of Escott for 32 to take the lead heading into the endgame, which in fact gives him a winning position here. Nevertheless, Madhav makes his own top evaluated choice of Join for 13, forcing Abdulqudus into a sensitive situation under extreme time pressure. With Madhav's letters, the newly opened triple isn't a threat, but with so little time, he can't be sure of that, so he plays the reasonable Nay for 9 to block it. However, this leaves him with 2 R's, and Madhav cleverly spots the only location where both R's will play at once in blocking it with Riff for 17. Abdulqudus can only play Mir for 6, after which Madhav uses the final spot on the board where an R can play first, forcing Abdulqudus to pass his turn and allowing him to end the game with Li for 2, en route to a 386 to 374 final in this tactical thriller. Before we start the next game, if you're enjoying my content and want even more, consider joining my Patreon for extra videos each week. Now just one win away from becoming World Youth Champion, Madhav draws an excess of vowels to start round 23 and exchanges tiles, allowing Abdulqudus to answer with Hirer for 24. Madhav next showcases word knowledge far beyond his years with the obscure entail for 64, but rather than play it in this spot, allowing Abdulqudus to potentially overlap to the triple with high-scoring consonants on top of the Y, he slots it further up on the board, limiting the damage he can sustain from overlaps. A really savvy play. Without an S in hand, Abdulqudus blocks the triple as best he can with Ah for 34, but Madhav responds with another extremely impressive bingo of Risoluto for 62 to extend his lead even further. Abdulqudus answers with Plower for 33 to cover up the triple, and Madhav can answer with Jin hooking entailed for 48 points here. However, whether he's unsure of the D hook or perhaps simply preferring a more defensive approach, he instead plays Jointed for 34, which allows Abdulqudus to showcase his own word knowledge with Drab hooking entailed for 33. Madhav draws the first blank, but without playable bingos, he plays Mum for 19 to balance his rack and block a little bit more of the board, likely reasoning that Abdulqudus will have incentive to open it at a deficit. Abdulqudus doesn't have good tiles, though, and plays Gid to undouble his G's and I's. Madhav continues to block off sections of the board with Look for 24. Without a good draw, Abdulqudus could be in trouble. The second blank arrives at just the right time for him to spot the impressive Everting for 66, reopening the board again, and Madhav draws 3 I's after his previous play. Although he can balance his rack with Digit for 21, if Abdulqudus draws well, he could seize control of the game here. Unfortunately for him, his draw is very poor, including the dreaded UV combination, but he makes an absolutely gorgeous game-saving find here of Vomike through MI on the board for a whopping 56 points, hitting 2 double word scores. It's a stunning play from the Nigerian youngster. Still, Madhav stays focused, quickly making his top play of Zax for 52 to retake a narrow lead. Abdulqudus hits back with his best cue play of Feek for 37, while Madhav draws NSS to his INS blank leave. Normally, S's are welcome, but here they slow him down, and he can't play anything underlapping the Z, holding the I as his lone vowel. His play of Ons looks best here, though it does signal strength to Abdulqudus, who continues to press his advantage with Pow for 39, opening nothing new to Madhav, who draws another N along with a second consonant in the F. He plays Sniff for 36 to keep himself in striking distance and hopes for the best. With only 6 tiles left in the bag, Abdulqudus is in a tough spot, with too many bingo options in the lower right corner to block them all with his vowel-heavy rack. He's also not up by that much, so he takes the standard choice of Yay for 33, and if he can dodge a bingo here, he'll likely take this game and preserve his tournament chances. But while Madhav draws even more consonants, his lone vowel in the E is just enough to give him the playable bingo of Intense for 67. Abdulqudus makes his best endgame move of Case for 27 to go up by 8, but Madhav clinches tournament victory with his own top move of Bay for 19 for a final score of 423 to 400. Madhav became the first Indian player to win a world title at any level, and his overall tournament rating rose to 2076, entering the top 5 players in the entire world regardless of age. This is a stunning achievement at just 14 years old. especially on the heels of his Indian National Championship victory just 3 months prior, and it'll be tremendously exciting to see where his Scrabble career goes from here. We think of India as a full-fledged chess powerhouse, with reigning world champion Gukesh headlining a slew of elite grandmaster players, but with Madhav leading the way, along with 5th place finisher Suyash Manchali. Look out for India in Scrabble as well in the years to come. Abdulqudus also deserves huge praise for his own fantastic performance, which serves as further evidence that the Nigerian Scrabble scene will continue to flourish for years to come. Lastly, I want to give a huge shout out to all of our Youth Scrabble competitors from around the globe. You are the future of our game, and it is so awesome to see that energy and passion coming into our community from future generations. So give yourselves a round of applause, and with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.